seated. I'd like to invite the kids to come up, please, and I'm going to go get our friend Tiny. Good morning, Tiny. Tiny says, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Tiny.
Tiny says, that startled him. Oh, he's, really? He says, actually, he's feeling kind of anxious this morning. Oh, has anybody here ever felt anxious? Yeah. Well, what's going on, Tiny? Oh, he said he watched the news last night. Oh, it seems like there are lots of bad things going on. Oh, he said he heard about some wildfires someplace. That sounds pretty bad, right? Oh, and he heard about wars in the world. Oh, and he said he heard about. Oh, he says it generally seems like people don't get along very well. Yeah. And you're worried? Yeah. Yeah, Rosie. He says there was that too. Yeah. It's sometimes, here's a question, do scary things happen in the world sometimes? Yeah. And we hear about those things. And do you know what? I don't know if you guys are listening to what Jesus said in our gospel reading today, but he told his disciples, he said, you're going to hear about scary things happening in the world, right? And you're going to hear about wars, and you're going to hear about earthquakes and death, right? All kinds of things. And did Jesus say you should be afraid? No. What Jesus said is that you should keep trusting in him, right? Because there are scary things in the world, right? We live in a world where there's sin, and sin means that sometimes that there are people don't get along, and sometimes there are wars, right? And other all kinds of bad things that happen. But who came to overcome sin? Jesus did. And who's in charge of the world? That's right, God's in charge of the world, right? Jesus is in charge. And who's going to come again someday? Jesus is, right? And so even though the world has scary things in it, and we see scary things on the news or hear it on the radio, you know what? We have reason not to be afraid because we belong to Jesus, and Jesus is in charge, and Jesus is taking care of us. And we know that one day Jesus is going to come again in a way that we can see, the whole world can see, and he's going to make all the bad things go away, right? And make everything new. That helps you feel better? Good. That helps me feel better too. And it's good to remember that Jesus is in charge, right? And so we can trust in him today and every day, even when things might seem scary. Yeah. All right, I'm going to put you down, Tiny. I'm going to say a prayer with the kids, okay? All right. And you guys can repeat after me. Dear Jesus, sometimes the world seems scary. But we know that you are in charge of all things. And you are taking care of us. And you will come again. Please help us. Not to be anxious. But to trust in you. We love you, Jesus. Amen. Thanks, friends. You guys can go sit down, and it was wonderful to see you. And Tiny says, bye, everybody.